and welcome to the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. It's lovely to have you all back with us on this lovely Sunday service, but also special for Father's Day. And a warm welcome from Ray.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you here. And we'd like to welcome Rose Anderson as our medium this morning. Sorry about this.
Somebody knows my life.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, so...
Oh God, I hope mine don't start.
No, we only did that.
Hello.
Put it near us in case it rang.
Susan, before you go on, I'm
Okay.
live on television at the moment.
Right. So Susan's live on television. Whoever
Okay,
Susan
give you a
is.
call later.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, that proves we're live. And I say Ray's going to do
Someone
the
calls
lovely opening prayer for us this morning.
Okay, everyone, sorry about that. Just shows you what happens live television. Well, friends, I'd ask you to find that peace, that stillness within yourself, that quietness where we open our service with divine prayer. Great architect of the universe, unseen but ever present, Father, Mother God, we come to thee this morning seeking communion with thee and our loved ones from the realms of spirit. We would ask you to bless this virtual service and bring your peace and strength not only to us who are working, but all of those who are listening in and watching. Bring that peace of God that passes all understanding. Bring that light and truth which makes us instruments of thy peace upon this earth, so we may go out to the highways and byways of life. Bring in the message of hope and knowledge that there is no death, that life continues from what we know as death to a more abundant life. So Heavenly Father, we ask this blessing upon this service and all are gathered in your name. We thank thee, Father, Mother God. So mote it be. Amen.
And if we can stay in a prayerful thought as we have a few moments to think of all of those that are in need of healing at this time, for all the key workers that need the energy and the vitality, those that we know are not well, those that we know that are in hospitals, and also think of all the fathers that are perhaps in hospital or in isolation that can't be with their families this year. This is the first year that I haven't rushed to my dad to take him out to a pub. For those that know me, he passed in February, and we just literally had his funeral service before lockdown. So I still have his ashes actually at the church, ready for a time when church is open again. So I would say, for those of you that have your dads here physically, but you can't get to them, then know that love will always be around. And for those that like me and like Ray, our fathers are in the spirit world. We normally put some flowers at church and we get them some flowers for the garden. But I have this little poem that I just want to read. What would I give if I could say, hello Dad, in the same old way, to hear your voice and see your smile, to sit with you and chat a while. So if you have a father, cherish him with care, for you'll never know the heartache till you see his vacant chair. So if we can think and say of those dads in isolation that cannot be with families, and those that have passed this year. So like me, it's the first time that we've had our dads looking down from heaven, and they're celebrating Father's Day with their own dads that they met in heaven. So we know this to be 100%. We ask our healing angels to go forth to all areas where there is in need, those that it is their time to transition, and hopefully give the strength, energy and vitality to those for their recovery. Hopefully in the coming weeks we'll be able to meet up with friends once more, and hopefully we may be even able to open our church with social distancing. So that is something that we're looking forward to doing. But we also have to say to all of our new congregation that we will be continuing to have a virtual service. It's been wonderful to meet all of you, all of our new members of our church in our virtual church. We've set the church up ready for us to do streaming at the church, and that is something we will obviously continue now to do. To those of you that not sure if you're a spiritualist, just answer, if you believe that there is life in the spirit world in heaven and that they can communicate, then you're a spiritualist. So remember that. And Doris Collins, a very famous medium in the 1970s, said that to me when I was 15 years old on my first ever event at the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. And she said, well, if you believe in communication, then you're a spiritualist. And I've never looked back, and that is about almost 45 years ago. So very much, let's think of all of those for healing. And to say, the next part of our service will be with one of our ministers from the Wimbledon and Hackbridge Spiritualist Churches, Reverend Rose Anderson. It's lovely to have her back on this special Father's Day, and she's going to. Yes. So we're going to say a few hellos before I get to Rose, but I just want you to welcome Rose and say she is one of our ministers at the church, and we've been friends for many, many years and have done many spiritual works together, and it'll be fascinating for Rose to talk about them on one of these services. So we're going to say a few hellos now.
Right. Hello everybody, it's nice to be back again. It's all still very new for me, this, so please forgive me if I stumble through it. No.
Okay.
Right.
And we've got our first good morning to everyone from Phil. So Phil, lovely to see you. And from George, it's always lovely to know that you're here at our service. And Darwin, our church organist, good morning everyone, she's saying. And Anthony Lapsley, another friend of ours at Wimbledon. Shirley, and Shirley's found it, so wonderful. Wendy Payne, good morning. Thank you for coming in again in this service, Wendy. And Victoria, good morning to you. And Gloria, and Simone, and Petra, lovely to see you, Petra. And Michael, lovely to hear from you, Michael. So you're all nice and early with your comments this morning. And Cheryl, nice to see you as well. And Victoria, and Helios, if I'm saying that correctly. Good morning to you. And we have Sylvia. Right, lovely to.
We all know Sylvie.
See that you're with us, Sylvie. We can't see our friends, but we can hear from you all and be part of this service together.
Morning, Sharon.
And Sharon.
Morning, Christine. Morning, Emma. So nice of you all to join us.
There's a good morning from Sue, and again from George.
Morning, Jim.
And Jim.
Hello, friend.
Morning, one of our regulars at church. And
morning, Bonnie. Julie, good morning. Cheryl again, good morning. Tracy Jones, hello Tracy, glad you're here. Dawn, hello love, how are you? Hello Jill. Helios again, hello. Julie Caswell, hello Julie, how are you? We all know Julie.
And June.
Hello Avon calling. Hello June. Carol, good morning. Hope you and Gerard are both well. Christine, hello
From
Christine,
Spain.
how's Spain? Elizabeth, welcome. Stacey, welcome. Rosie, welcome. Good morning. Wow.
There are so many of you that we can't get through to all of you at this time, but we're going to be starting the next part of our service.
Next part of the service, please welcome Rose. She'll be demonstrating her gifts of mediumship. Please remember, there is a 10-second delay, so if Rose says, do you understand a lady called Nellie? You write, yes, I do. If it's don't, please say, don't know. But it's important that we have your responses. Also, please share this service. It's a very good way of sharing spiritualism this morning. So I hand you over to Rose, who will demonstrate her gifts of mediumship. Welcome, Rosie, again.
Welcome, Rose.
Welcome to everybody. Like as I said, it's only my second time doing this, so I'm still a little bit of a novice, and I mustn't look at that screen because I'm out of sync, and I know that there's a 10-second delay. but it's very off-putting when you're actually looking at it. Well, I have to say, the first thing I've got here, not surprisingly as it's Father's Day, is a gentleman. He seems to be walking his dog at the moment. Obviously, my gentleman is on the other side, and I feel he always, especially on a Sunday, used to like to take his dog for a walk. This dog's quite a biggish dog. I know we've got a James here, but I'm hearing the name of James or Jim as well. It's not. I thought at first it was like a greyhound, but it's not. It's got quite a thicker tail, but it's not as tall as a greyhound, but it's a big dog. It's not a small dog. Let's put it like this. And I love open spaces, and I get the feeling that this gentleman would have liked to retire to somewhere in the country, and I don't know if he got the chance. He may have died shortly before retiring or just after, and he never got the chance to fulfill that part of his life. I feel I'm looking for a daughter here, and this is a lady that has been going through a grieving time. Now, I don't mean necessarily that her father's only died this year, but I do feel there has been grief this year. Can anyone understand that? Okay, let's carry on. Right, my gentleman was quite a tall man, sort of gangly, all arms and legs, especially I think towards the end, because I think he lost quite a lot of weight. Oh. Right, okay. What, just the tall man, just the tall gangly bit, or the rest of it? Right, okay. Angela, can you take all of it? Because I felt that this wasn't two separate connections. This all fitted together. Ooh. Right, okay. Oh, right, okay. All right. I do feel my gentleman with the dog wasn't a short man. And it may be, I get the feeling that he may have lost a lot of weight prior to passing, and that made him seem all arms and legs. And it seems as if he's met up with somebody that he either had a falling out with, or that there was some sort of a rift between them. I feel this might have been a brother or his father. I feel that there'd been some sort of family disagreement in the past that, they never maybe had the chance to heal. He wants you to know that, and I know all the things that are going on around you at the moment, that there has been a lot of stress around you. Now, we can say that about everybody. I mean, every time I'm doing a reading, there's hold-ups and there's sickness, because that's all we've been concentrating on. But this is specific to you. I get the feeling that there has been there has been more than your fair share of grief over the past year, and it's very difficult to seem to try to get out of everything. I'm not suggesting that you're not well or you're unwell yourself, but I feel that you're quite down, as if your energy is very, very poor at the moment. And I feel that he wants you to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know whether you're also a little bit concerned about your material security as well, or work, which again, you know, applies to a good amount of the population at the moment. But this may, thank you, because I knew that there'd been other grief as well. But I know that you're concerned about your security, some form of security at the moment. And he wants you to know, I'm not telling you it's all going to be wonderful, roses round the door, never be unhappy again, because that's not real life. But what he is saying is that, you know, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know if there's some problem about where you're living, or you're concerned about, you know, a roof over your head, but he's putting a very firm, solid structure over your head. And he wants you to know that, you know, that they have got your back. They have got your back. And it's lovely to know. I just get the feeling that whatever you're concerned about, something is being sorted out. All right. Yeah. And you're concerned about money and material things, possibly also your home as well. But all I know is that they're giving you their full support. And I know you got made redundant last week, but it's easy enough for me to say, please don't worry. I'm not in your position. But sometimes out of a bad thing comes a good thing. I'm not saying that you hated your job. I don't mean that at all, but I feel it's time for new doors to open. It may be that, you know, as one door shuts, another one will open. Can you please just take their blessing? Because I can feel about half a dozen of them knocking on the door, and I want to try and do as many as I possibly can this morning. And he said to tell you that he still takes the dog for a walk. Okay. Oh, well, bless you, my darling. Just know that they're with you. Okay. I feel that's your message. They just wanted you to know that they were there. And I don't know whether you are getting primroses, which are a wildflower. I know. But for some reason, your dad and possibly your mum as well liked open spaces, meadows where wildflowers would have grown. Because I've got primroses and I've got to give those to you. Bless you, sweetheart. Oh dear. Somebody's making me feel very sick here. I've got someone that's recently passed. I don't feel they've been gone very, very long. I wanted to say over the last few months, and I'm feeling, I suddenly felt as if I was going round and round. I don't know whether they had a stroke or heart failure or whatever it was. I feel as if the world's going round and I've gone. You're welcome, sweetheart. Whoever this was, and I was deciding if it was a man or a lady. I do feel it's a lady, actually. I feel very strongly that this lady hasn't been gone an awfully long time. I feel that although she didn't pass instantly, there wasn't long. It may have been that she may have been unconscious or in a coma for a short while. And she was very, very breathless. I can feel I'm really, really breathless. So it may have been her heart. She might have had high blood pressure, but I'm just feeling, she hadn't been feeling well for a little while. She'd been feeling unwell, you know, I must go to the doctors, or I'm not feeling myself. But it was quite a surprise when she died. And I feel hot and bothered. Makes me feel that maybe her blood pressure was high. Can anyone accept this? Okay. I know my name's Rose, but I'm getting the name of Rose. I can hear someone calling out Rose, Rose. And it may be they're calling to somebody called Rose. Now, interestingly enough, my mum died like that, but it isn't. It's definitely not my mum, and she's not calling for me. I know we've got Rosie here, but do we have another Rose here? All right. Sounds like Joe, someone's just said. Who was it just said sounds like Joe? Oh. No. No. No, no, no. Yeah, could be, but I know your mum has passed quite a little bit. Does the name Rose link with her, Petra? Oh, she's Rose. I do apologise because I do know Petra's mum. I don't feel it is, because your mum didn't die suddenly like that. I know that, Petra. And I'm feeling very, very sick as well. Oh, right, okay. Did you say we've got somebody called Rosie Din? Right. Can you listen to this, Rosie? I don't know whether it's Rosie that goes to the church, or if she was really young, I can take it. Younger daughters now. Well, right. All the things have to relate to each other. They're not separate. This lady died. I feel it's literally, she might have died in front of somebody, or she might have collapsed in front of somebody, or when she was out. But definitely she collapsed. This isn't someone that died over a period of time. No? No. Right. Did she die in that way? That's all I want to know, because the two things need to go together. And I thought somebody was calling Rose. Mum was often mistaken for Rose. Yeah, but Petra, your mum died over a period of time. This lady didn't. I actually feel that when they must have done a post-mortem or some sort of investigation, and they found she had more wrong with her than they'd realised. And I know it's only recently, I wanted to say over the last 6 months, no more than a year. Okay, I will accept that. That is what I wanted. Yeah, okay. And you can't take the Rose at all, because she seemed to be calling for someone called Rose. So I don't know whether it's a member of her family but it seemed to be quite important. And I feel that this lady had been unwell, or, you know, when you've got niggly things wrong and you don't go to the doctors or you keep putting it off, it may be that she was frightened of doctors. If it's such a short time ago, it may be that she put off going to the doctors because of that. But I don't feel it would have made any difference. Now, I don't know what your relationship is, Mary, to this lady. But I feel as if there was either a close link or you know her family very well, because I feel I want to pass on a message to somebody. I feel I just want to say, you're saying she was on her own. I feel whoever found her is quite traumatised. Hello. We've got a message
you
coming
think you
in
know
from
better,
the
wouldn't you?
spirit. Right. I feel whoever found her might have been quite traumatised. I thought there might be somebody there with her, but I feel it's important that they know that she was all right. I don't know if they're worried because they think that she lay unconscious for a while. Because somebody is feeling quite guilty or really traumatised about this.
Leave it in there.
But the human body is an amazing thing, you know, and our spiritual connection. And quite often what might seem, you know, oh God, they were unconscious and aware. I think she was out of it anyway. I think she was gone. She was half gone anyway. And she was never, ever alone, she tells me. She was never, ever alone. And I think that this is quite an important message for somebody, because maybe they should have been there earlier, or they feel guilty because she was on her own. All I know is that it's very important to know that, you know, she went a lot quicker than they think. Even though the body might have been going through automatic functions, you know, quite often the spirit is already halfway there, or is asleep, and you know, like, and he's guarded. You know, it's fantastic the way you know, spirit do look after us even when we're not aware of it, and they were all waiting for her. So there was at no point was she alone. Right, thank you. Because I wanted to say I felt whoever found her was quite traumatised by it.
Well done, Rose.
Okay. Oh, I don't feel I'm getting any more. This lady also had problems with her tummy, which maybe they found out about afterwards. And another lady is coming forward, and I don't know whether this would have been her mum or an aunt, but it's a maternal figure, and she was there waiting for her. She was there to help her, and she's helping her now. And I think that may bring some comfort to them. Okie doke. I'm going to leave it because this is, as I said, I don't want to spend too much time on each one, simply for the fact I would like to do as many as I can. Okay. Right. And she has already tried to make her presence felt. I feel that, or somebody has tried to let them know they are around, just to bring this family comfort. Sometimes it has the opposite effect, and they get a little bit frightened if they don't understand. But I want to say they're just letting them know that they're there with them. Oh dear. Gosh, I've got a daughter here. I've got somebody that's calling out for her dad. This is a young girl or a young woman that died. And she's calling out for her father, not the other way round. So I feel there is a gentleman here that has lost a daughter. Again, I don't feel I'm going back and all. Well, I might be, but I didn't feel I was going back an awfully long time. I feel very strongly that there is well, the term's relative, isn't it? I mean, I'm in my 60s, so 50s are young, but there is a woman who died before her time, and I feel her father is still here on the earth plane. And I don't know whether he's quite psychic himself or whether he picks things up, but he's either been dreaming about her or he's been sensing her presence around him. It may even be that she hasn't been gone a long time. Can anyone take that? Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you for that. Can anyone understand this? This is somebody's daughter, okay? Trouble is you work, you know, like mental mediumship works so quickly, the technology's got to keep up with it. Okay, thanks. Right, okie doke. Some reason I feel as if my throat is constricted. I don't know if she had something wrong with her throat. I feel like everything's swollen, or she might have had a thyroid problem. She hadn't reached the end of her life, this lady. Okay. Is your father still here? Because she seems to be talking about your, you know, your father or her father. And she's also saying that, I know you said it could be your sister, but she's concerned. I don't know if there's more than one sister or other siblings, but she is concerned about one of her siblings at the moment. She said there's been a lot of unrest in her family, you know, over concern over somebody. Not necessarily health, but there has been some concern. Somebody's lost sound. Right, okay. Yeah, I've just saw a message from that lady. Oh, right. She's desperate to go home and see her father. That was the one I saw. He's desperate to go home and see her. Right. My sister idolised my dad. He's desperate to go home and see her. When you say home, do you mean spirit? Because I'm feeling the man is here. Right, okay, thank you. Right. Sharon, you have other siblings, because I feel, or I'm getting confused here. You have other siblings. Right, you have other siblings because she tells me that there is also worry around another sibling at the moment. I don't want to say a child, that there is worry around another sibling. And I know you said that your sister idolised your dad. She said he's not ready to go yet. This man, you know, I know he's desperate to go home and see her, but I just get the feeling that although he feels lost, there is, you know, there is still life for him, and she is around him quite a lot. I feel he picks up. She must try to contact him. He's either quite psychic himself or works in the psychic field, or gets very vivid dreams, because she does let him know that she is there. And the worry, I feel it's. I don't feel it's yourself. I feel it's another sibling, Sharon. There is a slight health concern. I'm not medically qualified. I'm not telling you there's nothing to worry about, but I will. But what they're saying is it's going to be dealt with. It's going to be sorted. They're not worried about that because they say that is in hand. But there is quite a lot of change happening in the family. It's like everything's disrupted at the moment. I see packing boxes. I feel somebody's trying to move, or there is an attempted move here, or someone wants to move, because I can see these packing boxes and they're stuck. Well, we know that everybody has been stuck. Nobody's been moving, but I feel that it's not because of the pandemic. I feel that there's been other reasons why things have been held up as well. There seems to be some sort of legal or paperwork issue, and I feel stressed. I feel like tempers rising with people. It's like everyone's getting very irritable, and I don't mean everyone's arguing over money or material things, but it seems to be very frustrating. These things just take their time to get sorted out. I don't know if your mum's also still here, but I feel as if right, okay. There is concern around an older lady as well. Now, I'm not sure if that's your mum or whether it's another lady in the family. Can I just say that, your family has gone through one of those times that families do go through sometimes. It just seems as if it's never ending. But I want to say there is a brighter spark on the horizon. There is some good news. I feel very, very strongly that, I don't know whether somebody wants a baby. I always choose my words carefully when I say this, but there is a baby coming to the earth plane, and I feel it's going where it's wanted. It's blessed, and you know what they say. Sometimes that in life does happen, one out, one in. But I do feel that like there is new life coming, and I think that's going to. It's not going to take everyone's troubles away, but it will uplift everybody. Because I really feel that your family at the moment needs something positive. And sometimes it's just that one little thing, and it helps everybody. It's like the old domino effect. Those of you, that remember Roy Castle and, the domino effect, it's wonderful how one little thing can change things or spark change. And she's giving me, your sister's giving me a big bag of gold coins. Very nice too for you. But I hate to disappoint you, but they're chocolate coins. They're chocolate coins in a net bag, like the type you get for Christmas. I don't know whether she's saying look forward to Christmas. I don't even want to think about it. But she's just giving me this. I feel it's a memory and it would make you smile. But I also feel that there's a few real ones in there as well. So something monetary is going to be sorted out as well. Okay. And was your sister did she like a little gamble now and again? Or was there someone else like to gamble? I might have left you actually, darling. So I feel I've got a different, totally different connection here. I've got a man here suddenly walked in, and I feel I'm putting a betting slip in my pocket, and I've got the racing news here. He did like a little bit of a flutter. I want to call him Lucky Jim. I don't know if that was his name was Jim, but definitely, I don't mean that he, gambled the housekeeping away, but I feel that was one of the things he liked. He did like the horses and, a little bit of a gamble. And he wants to come forward to say hello. This was a man that loved his family very, very much, although it may be that there might have been a slight estrangement at some point. Oh, that's your granddad, is it, darling? I'm still with you. Okay, bless his heart. Well, maybe the gold coins and the thing, he's telling you a little bit of luck's coming your way. Sounds as if you all need it. On the horses, oh, bless you. All right then, darling. Well, I'm going to leave you with your message, okay? So take their love, and take the horses with you, because the racing started up again. So maybe have a little bit of a good luck bet. Bless you, my sweetheart. How am I for time?
You're about it, Rosie.
I am. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry, sweethearts. I couldn't get through to more of you, but it is only a short time, on a Sunday morning. But thank you very much for listening to me. And, if you've liked the messages and, you've taken comfort from them, then that's all that matters. Thank you very much. I'll hand you back over to Jackie.
Hello, Rose. Thank you very much indeed for your mediumship this morning. Thank you very much indeed. It was lovely seeing you, being with you once again. Look forward to the lockdown and Weatherspoons one day, eh?
Oh, only
well,
a
friends,
couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, friends, it's a lot is happening in our lives. A lot is going on in our lives. And I know how many people are still upset at the fact they're locked in and they can't do what they want to do. But we have to try and accept what's happening. Don't necessarily enjoy it. Don't necessarily carry on with it. But we've got to learn to live with it, because Jackie and I have been locked in up till this week, and we met our grandkids properly for the first time this week. And I'm very blessed today. I'm going to have a socially distanced Father's Day in the garden, which I can't wait for. But I've also been very reminiscent this week, listening to different pieces of the music I like from the day. I'm very much a 60s fan and early 70s with my music, but especially the 60s. I was very much into listening to, and Rosie's old enough to remember this, Radio London, wonderful Radio London, the offshore pirate station, and some of the things they say and do, and offering shampoo at 17 and 6 and 2 and 6 and bits and pieces. And yeah, I think we remember a bit of old money, Rose and I. But the situation is, we live in a world that is very real and very substance at the moment, and there's a lot of frightening things happening. And especially what happened in Reading last night. We don't know the full story yet, but that's frightening, to go to a park and 3 people have passed to the spirit, and I think 3 or 4 are still seriously injured. We must learn to go past that and look beyond the horrors of that, because news can get you so engrossed you become like a news terrorist, sitting in your armchair or listening to the news, and you want to do this and you want to do that, you want to go and change the world. Especially when you listen to some of the things certain leaders of nations say, you can't believe it's coming out of their mouths. But we must look to the future, the bright future. This week we've got some sun coming, and it's going to be great with the weather, and it's going to be great and positive. I know Jack's not really looking forward to it because the temperature is going to be a bit high, but we have to look to the future. We have to look to the hope and glories of what's coming towards us, not just in the next life, but I'm talking about this life. And we've got to learn to live with new norms. Those of you who have ever been to Wimbledon Church, you know it's a rather large church. We've set up the social distancing aspect of the church, but we can only sit at the moment about 30 people, which is not a lot. Some mornings it's too many, but it's not a lot. And we will sort that out as time goes on. If it goes down to a metre, we'll sort that out. But we must learn to understand that the situation we're in, we've got to learn with it. We can't break it. We can't get out from it. Wish we can rebel within reason. And those who knew me, there's probably nobody on the service this morning, but when I worked as a civil servant, I was totally one never to embrace change. I do not like change. I do not like change for change's sake. Though those who know me at both churches, I'm always moving the church around. And that's because of the greengrocer in me of moving what we used to call the front and the stall around and the shop around. So people see things different and see things a lot different. We promise you, somewhere or another, we're going to continue our Sunday virtual service. But starting next week, I'm going to do it from Wimbledon Church, socially distanced with Jackie. And we want to see what happens from there. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to welcome people on a Sunday at Wimbledon. We're looking at how we can do that at Hatbridge as well. We're just waiting for some more government information. But there's so much going on in this world, but there's also so much joy in this world. I've seen on my Facebook page today a lot of people showing they're a dad for the first time on Father's Day, and they've got their little child in their hand, and it's such a wonderful thing. I remember my first Father's Day with my Ashley and Rachel, and I've got their cards somewhere. I've got my first cards from my daughter-in-law and my son-in-law with their names on it when they first gave them to me. I'm very much embraced my family. I love my family. Though after about 5 minutes, I'm quite happy to get away from the two boys when they're going on and fighting and arguing. But the other day, Noah came up to me and he put his arms around me and said, "Love you, Grandad. See you soon." And he went off and never spoke to me for the rest of the morning. But that's how kids are and how the world is at the moment. Certain things will just continually go and go and go. I found this week especially difficult with missing my pop, my dad. Now, missing's the wrong word because he's not missing in action. He's missing nowhere other than I know he's in heaven, he's in the spirit world. But to have this physical presence sitting opposite me in the armchair, talking to me like he used to, and perhaps even telling me off like he used to, is something I physically miss. And I know those who knew my dad, and there's a lot of you on here that knew me dad, he was quite a vocal man when he wanted to be. He could be quite poignant in his words and his open way of saying to things, to people and bits and pieces. But I do love my dads, including all the sins that he may or may not have committed, all the ducking and diving he may have done and probably did do. But I love my dad and I still miss that physical presence. I know Jack has found today difficult because we would be normally now rushing down to my father-in-law to get him into a pub by 12 o'clock because he did love his 12 o'clock pint on a Sunday and doing that. And we do miss that today. It's been one of those days we would have said to Mary or Leslie, look after church for us, we're taking Rick out. And I know Rick has communicated quite a bit lately with different mediums with Jackie and I. And those of you who saw last week's service, the psychic artist gave me a drawing during the week. And the drawing I recognised from a security guard that I used to work with, who I knew very well. And he used to help a relative of his on a stall, and we would talk about the markets and the different aspects of the markets when we had our tea breaks and bits and pieces like that. There is no death, friends. There really isn't. And it's okay to miss that physical presence. It's okay to live with that truth. It's okay to feel sad and lonely because that's natural part of grieving. Somebody once said to me, who was an older statesman of my church, as I called her, Mari Jackson, Ray, you've got to remember, you've got to grieve. You've got to learn to grieve. And I've tried to do that in my own little way. But I do miss mum and dad. I can't deny it. I do miss my father-in-law even phoning up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I need a pint of milk. But it's also sad to remember some of the latter parts of their lives, how much pain my dad was in, how much my mum missed my father, how she was looking forward to going over, and how my father-in-law was fed up. And one of the last things he spoke to us in a conversation, he told us an amount of people had come to see him, and two of them were his brother. And I was pretty sure he was ready to pass then. Life is wonderful to live. And during this period of time, it has been frustrating. Jackie and I have been frustrated. We can only sit and watch so much telly. I've learned so much about houses on overseas you can buy in Spain and Italy and France. I think I could become a estate agent tomorrow. I've watched so many programs about building railway stations and the trains running on railway stations. I could probably become Secretary of State for Transport next week. But we have to understand this is only for a little while longer. And when we do go out, we mask ourselves up if you want to. Certainly on public transport, you must. And you must be free to express yourself and be bold and brave. I know how great my local shops have been. We've been lucky. We've had our regular delivery from Sainsbury's. Our daughter and daughter-in-law have been brilliant with shopping for us and bringing shopping at socially distanced. A couple of times through the window, it looked like it was doing something on the knock. But we have to express that this too will pass. I've had a terrible, terrible time with a lack of sleep. For the first 5 or 6 weeks, I just was not sleeping. Hence, I wasn't here some mornings because I was asleep in the morning and awake all night. But I think I give blessings for Netflix and Amazon because I watched a lot of programs I didn't even know existed, and they've been great fun. My dad loved a card. Those of you who knew him, he loved his birthday card. Next month will be his birthday, and he would say to me, Ray, can you come and help me? I've got the postman coming. I've got 4 tons of cards coming through the post today. And he loved all that. He truly did. And Father's Day, he loved his cards from his sons and family and daughters, and how much that impressed him getting those cards and how much he loved those cards. My dad loved his family. And I know how much I love and embrace my family. But some of you out there don't have families to love. So that's why we call you our church family. That's why we want you to be part of Wimbledon or Hatbridge Church. Be our families there. We're hoping to open even Hatbridge soon, but we've just got to go around there and sort about the churches, because it's a smaller church and the 2 meters, hopefully be 1 meter next week, will make much life simpler. But I want you to understand, all of you, read up on the internet, those who've got phones or laptops, read up on spiritualist teachings, read up on your history. If there's something you want to know, find out, look out online and find out. Jackie often says to me, I wonder why this happened. So I go straight to my phone and phone her. And my Rachel would call it random crap, Dad. You found random crap. But it's all part of living in this world. And it's all great to be here in this world, living it. We've got some wonderful mediums serving Wimbledon Church. I'm not going to name people because I'll miss them out and they will text me saying you missed me out. But we have some many wonderful mediums serving Wimbledon and Hatbridge Church. We have some wonderful mediums that are part of the family at Hatbridge and Wimbledon Church. And it's great to have you in our lives. It's great for you to be part of our lives. But spiritualism teaches us so much about being within ourselves, feeling out the light and the truth and the love of the Spirit, feeling out the message of spiritualism, because we can never, ever stop helping our fellow friends. We cannot stop helping those people we do meet, even socially distanced, giving them hope, giving them knowledge, telling them how they can pray for healing, how they can ask for healing. Someone said to me the other day, sent me a message, Ray, could I ask some healing? I'm not a spiritualist, but could I just ask for some prayers? I said, of course. And people forget that. You don't have to be a spiritualist or anything in religion to ask for a prayer. One of the friends I used to work with in the civil service, he wasn't a religious man and still isn't a religious man. But whenever I put things on Facebook about my family or my Jackie, often comes back with the thing, Ray, I'm not religious, but I'll send out a good thought. That is exactly the same thing. Send out a good thought, send out a great prayer. One of the things I'm anxious about the future over the next few months, even when the church is open, is spiritual healing. We're probably not going to be able to do spiritual healing other than at a distance or in an absent healing mode. But we need to try and work that out. I've got some, hopefully, bits and pieces come through. I'm on to, with our healing leader at Wimbledon and Hatbridge, Leslie. She's getting as much information as she can. She started to get some information, but there's a lot more we know to come out. We're trying to get, we've got rubber gloves at church, we've got masks coming, we've got hand towels coming, we've got gel at church already, and we're trying to be very positive. The only thing that probably won't be able to happen, unless it's you really need to, we're going to try and keep the toilets closed. But if you come to church and you need a loo, it'll be available. But we're encouraging people trying not to use the loo, because we've got to keep it clean and germ-free and virus-free as much as we can. And I don't want to lay that all on Jackie's back at this moment of time. But we will do our utmost, our true utmost, to do this. And we will do the best to keep us all going in our Spiritualist Church. With our mediums, I will start working out how we can do a virtual service from Wimbledon on a Tuesday evening. Speak to Richard perhaps later, and how we can do that, and how we can promote our spiritualism, how we can promote the message and truths of spiritualism, which are so large. All of us have different thoughts and aspects on spiritualism. Not one of us will probably agree on what is a lot of spiritualism, but thankfully at Wimbledon and at Hatbridge, and some of our friends at Wimbledon and Hatbridge, we allow you to think for yourself. We're not like some religious or spiritualist organisations where you have to toe, if I may say, the party line of the whole time. We have to let you think for yourself. Unless you suddenly came in and said, I'm a demonologist and I believe that through spiritualism, I won't be very encouraging for you to stay with that. But I'm very pleased to welcome everybody into church that has a belief system, and they're looking for enlightenment. They're looking for the truth. That's lovely. I'm just reading what Dawn's written. Yeah, there's not many bushes at Wimbledon Church, Dawn, I have to say. But I get your point. I get your point. If I lived in Brixton near Brockwell Park, good chance. But anyway, friends, look forward. Look to the light. Be a sunflower. The sunflower always turns to the light. That is a spiritualist emblem. Turn to the light. Feel that light. Feel that sunshine. Feel that sunshine on your body. That's healing you of mind, body and spirit. It's healing you and strengthening you to carry on your tasks, be it remaining lock-in or going out and being brave and doing a bit of shopping. I know when Jackie and I first went shopping last week, we were rather nervous. We kept a distance from everyone, and it was almost something out of Monty Python's, shouting and go away and come here and look, they're limping. It's a miracle. But we truly have to see in our lives the beauty that lies within our world, and especially outside our four walls, wherever they may be. So I'm looking forward to Wimbledon opening up quite soon, and welcoming all the Wombles back to Wimbledon, and all the Hatbridge family coming back as well, and sharing our church and sharing the truths of our church. And I can't thank Richard enough for what he's done for the spiritual movement and putting on these shows. He's done a grand job, and if anything, there's ever such a time we can do it, he needs a medal for all of this, because he's done a grand job. And we need to continue working with Richard to keep our churches open in a wider field. My dad's LAD Promotions, as my dad actually said last night, was formed in the 80s to spread the truth and knowledge of spiritualism, to take that message out to the people. And I found by doing this service, this virtual service, we're taking it out. Now, some spiritualists aren't enjoying these virtual services. They're thinking it's not a proper church. Well, I'm very mindful that Jesus said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, there I am in the midst of you. So wherever are you, he is with us. He is blessing us. His presence is with us. And so are our guides and loved ones from the realms of spirit. We must never feel bereft that we're alone. We must never feel that... Sorry, I'm keeping you up, Rose. I'm doing my best.
I'll be loud.
But thank you all for joining. And I just want to share some few words before we go. I know Jackie's going to do a meditation in a minute, but it's something I often read, and I've been reading since the 80s. And if I could share this with you. If one day you find me gone and no longer see my form walking through the door as you remember, look for me in the skies painted blue with the day, in the stars that make the heavens shine, in the sainted forms of gorse that crown the hills. See me in the eyes of the one you love. Now look for me in the quietness of your heart. If one day you find me gone and my voice is no longer greeting you from the stairs, from the chair, or some country walk we did together, listen for me in the music of the dawn, in the murmur of the high-wise trees, in the waves that rush to meet our feet, in the quietness of your heart, I am there. If one day you find me gone and my arms are no longer there to greet you, feel me in the evening breeze that cools the day, in the touch of our children's hands, in the warmth of your animal's fur, in the air that dries the tears from your eyes. Feel me in the quietness of your heart. Yes, if you find me gone one day, know instead that I am there in the quietness of your heart, closer than ever before. How can you lose that which is eternal? So we have to remember those words, live with those words, be with those words, be with the knowledge and truth of spiritualism. It's such a wonderful truth. And all of you out there in virtual world are looking for readings. When you shut down from this service, find somewhere still and quiet if you can, and speak to mum, speak to dad, speak to your nans and granddads. Feel their love and warmth coming to you. I remember one day, I think I was with Rose, but I can't remember. I had to go over to a house in Warlingham where this lady was convinced there was an evil cloud over her baby's cot. And I went over to Warling with Rose and a couple of other people. We went into this home and I saw that dark cloud over that cot, and we found out it was the lady's grandma who was looking after the little baby. And when I said that, she said, fine, that's wonderful. So sometimes with something you think is, it's coined a phrase of Pollyanna Boothby, spooky happening, look for a natural answer, look for a blessing answer. I know how many times Rose and I have gone out visiting people to try and clear the entities from their home, and all that needed clearing was the empties in the hallway and in the kitchen. And I'm serious, I'm sounding flippant, but I'm serious. You look for a natural way of explaining what is happening in a home. You don't always take it on the supernatural, because what happens in our homes is super normal. It has been beautiful to see the loved ones. A couple of times when I wasn't feeling well, I felt my mum sitting on the edge of the bed. I saw my mum sit on the edge of my bed, stroking my forehead, telling me to sleep. I heard my dad say, get the bleeding sleep or else, son. So he still had his love and strength from those times. But I know how much we need the loved ones of our family around us, especially now, more than ever now. And when I said to our good friend in the family, Pete, how much I miss my dad this week, and he came back and he said, now come here, you're human, you're entitled, you're allowed to. Never forget that. And I do know that, but it doesn't help the fact that I do miss him. Tomorrow will be fine. Tomorrow will be fine. My dad was one of those people that when his father passed into spirit, and I think it was by the time Dad passed, it was nearly 60 years, my dad could relive that memory day, hour by hour, second by second, even minute by minute. And I remember one day we went to a meeting and he went up to people, said my dad's funeral was today, and people were patting him on the back saying so sorry, but it was like 60 years ago. But it was so real in my dad's life, still very much. I speak to my Uncle Tony, Dad's brother, who, like my dad, has lived a very full and wonderful life, and he says how much he misses me dad. I won't quite use the word he uses, but he says, I do miss the old, it begins with F, but he does still physically miss that presence. And there's nothing wrong with that. I say to people, there's nothing wrong in missing your loved one. Jackie and I conducted a funeral again only just over a week ago, and we told him, there's no shame or embarrassment. Miss this person, but no, they are not gone. Someone said to me the other day, phoned up, I've only just found out you lost your dad. I said, well, I haven't lost him. I know where he is. And she went, oh, I know. I knew you'd bleed and say that, you spiritualist. I said, no, but I know where he is. Dad passed away. I didn't lose him. My mum used to say, I've not lost Dale. I know where he is. And she started the phrase of, I know where he is now, 24/7. So, my friend, so my wonderful, wonderful friends, go out, those of you who can, and have a Father's Day or be part of a Father's Day. If not, find a spot in your heart and your life today to have a Father Day with your dad, and try and be with them. Yes, Marion, I remember you being there. And remember being how much we miss our dads, how much we love our dads. But also, more important than all of that, is how much we know where our dads are. They're in heaven. They're in the spirit world. And they comfort us. They strengthen us. Jesus promised, and if you read it in St. John's Gospel, in my Father's house were many mansions. If it was not so, I would have told you so. And I go there to prepare a place for you. And if I go again, I shall receive you to myself, and you will be welcome home. All our friends will be welcomed home. So, friends, I'm going to leave you with those few words. And yes, Christine, I remember that house we visited in Windsor. It was a very interesting story. Thank you all very much. I lovely being part of your lives today. It's so great. So as I say, Jackie and I will be leaving just after this service, after we've had a chat with Richard. Can't thank you more enough, Rosie. Thank you for being part of today. It's been
You're
great.
welcome.
It's been wonderful. And
Good.
wonderful seeing you all our wonderful mediums and church family. I love you all. Hope to be with you soon. God bless you, seen and unseen. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. And I'm back with you all. And before we close our service and do the general meditation that we've been going through these last few weeks with the lovely pictures that Richard's been showing, I just want to just go on the theme of Father's Day. As I say, those of you that are lucky enough to perhaps see your father in a garden today, wonderful. But if not, have a lovely conversation with your dad on the phone, even if there's some distance or if they're in isolation or sheltering. But for all of us that have our fathers in the spirit world, then what I just want you to do for a couple of minutes is to just close your eyes and just think of the last half a dozen great memories that you had of your dad, whether they're from your childhood. I look back, and as I know this is the first year physically I won't see Dad, then I'm reminded as a child the holidays that we had. I'm reminded that my dad was a very strong man as a docker, and the fact that he used to carry these enormous suitcases with our clothes in, and how he could lift me and my sister up in one arm each. And also I remember when I couldn't have been more than about 4, him actually carrying me on his shoulders, and how we'd be on a holiday and we would be going to a local bramble and we would be walking from one pub to another. So it's those memories that I have of Dad. So I have the memory of him, outside in the car the day we got married, which is a lovely wedding photograph that I have here in the lounge with me. And those special days that made Dad extra proud. And if we can just, for just a couple of moments, just go back on our memory of our dads that are in the spirit world, and know that though we may not see them today, that they're definitely going to be around us. And if we've had a time perhaps this week where we felt a bit low, that we're feeling as though the 4 walls around us are just getting smaller, we can't get out to that fresh air, then to have a journey with Dad, have a walk with Dad, take him somewhere into a park and sit on a park bench with him and just remind him of that love that you have and share between you, because we know that death does not divide, the love continues, it is eternal, and our dads will be there when we pass the spirit world. But I'm sure our dads will also be communicating on a regular basis when we have our own private readings, and we have our services at church. As spiritualists, we're not obsessed with death, but rather the fact that we know that there is purpose in life, and that we're down here to actually be on a journey of discovery and personal responsibility, and just that learning experience. So we just take that love of our dads, all of our dads, and God bless the dads here on earth, and bless all the dads that are there in the spirit world, the ones that always walk with us, always in our shadow, always protecting us. So if you have got Dad in spirit, then look for the photo in the house that you've got of them. You know, just perhaps kiss the photo or just say to Dad, Happy Father's Day, Dad, still thinking of you. And then we know that we need to be brave for the next few weeks. We need to begin to open up that protection shell and to start to go out. It doesn't mean that we put caution to the wind. We have to be careful, you know, we have to be safe, but we need to, you know, go back into the world and embrace the world and embrace that freedom that we have here in this country. What we have to do is just send that love to them. So I hope that you've enjoyed our Father's Day service this week, and you know, we will see you again for next week's service. We'll have some adverts that we'll be doing as the service finishes. But if I just do a closing prayer, we can then do the adverts, and then we can then go into the meditation, which is an opportunity to have some healing moments for you. We've sent our healing moments out earlier in the service to those in need. This is that time for us now to be relaxed and to be in harmony with ourselves and to just give us a little bit of vitality before we get on with the rest of the week. So I wish you all well, and say let's have our closing prayer as we once again join and we ask Father, Mother, God to have a blessing on all heads bowed now and represented, to put your love around each family and to each bubble of family, and just imagine all of your arms outstretched to everyone that you know and that you love at this time, and just encompass all of them. And we thank our loved ones for coming close to us this day. We know that there are always a tenfold number of loved ones that would communicate if they could. And we are very blessed to have had some very good proof of survival this morning. And we are grateful that we are in a society that allows us to meet with like-minded people and allow us to have our wonderful spiritual religion that we call our spiritualism. So we thank you, Father, Mother, God, until we meet again. Amen. And I also want to thank Rose again for the lovely service, and say, you know, she is available as a medium during these times, you know, when we're not able to see people physically, but you are able to, you know, contact Rose through, you know, using our website and Facebook and, you know, the other means, and so she's a very fine medium. So thank you, Rose. And if I just ask Richard if he's going to put some adverts up. So the Sunday Sofa is with us this afternoon at 2:30. So join the ladies for gossip and live readings. It's a very popular afternoon show. So if you haven't caught it yet, then now is the time to do so. If you can't, Barry John is on this afternoon, I've just been told. If you can't catch it at the time, then you can always go into it afterwards. All of the things that are on Spiritual Productions can be, you know, looked at and tuned into later on. Now, the Spirit and the Paranormal is there with the live chat with all your comments and feedback, and it's on at 8 p.m. this evening with guests and answering your paranormal questions. So keep it real spiritual and paranormal events. So that'd be another opportunity. And we have a lovely brand new show this Friday. And those of you who know Birgitta, she does occasionally come to Wimbledon and Hackbridge. So, you know, she's a very knowledgeable lady. And the origin of the ancients is going to start this week, I'm sure, with the Atlanteans. So that's, and the Egyptians. So that's going to be very interesting. And that's on the 26th of June from 8 p.m. There's a great deal of interest in Egyptology at the moment, because it's getting near the anniversary of Tutankhamun. There's been many that have been on the television, and it'd be very well worth tuning in for Birgitta's programme. And I don't know if any of you have seen, we managed to catch a programme on National Geographic, and it was the Crystal Cave. And they've discovered the most incredible crystal cave in Mexico, inside this mountain. And these crystals are sort of like 100 times bigger than any other crystals that have ever been found. They're the size of trees. It's absolutely fantastic. And the energy of the crystals, it's really an energy that we've never really understood to the extent that we need to. So if you get a chance to see, if you've got a National Geographic, then have a look at that programme. Fantastic. And yes, 300 metres, some of these, and they're fantastic. And apparently it's going to get flooded again, so there won't be a chance to possibly see it for many, many years to come. And the technology is better because the temperature is so hot in there that they can only last for 5 minutes before they have to come out. But that was fantastic to see that. And I'm very much believe in the power of crystals and using crystals for healing. Okay, so hopefully that's all of the services covered. If you missed Ashley talking about philosophy on Friday, I'm sure that you can get back into that with the spiritual productions. That was very interesting, his talk on guides and inspirers that was on during the week. And it was lovely to know that there was up to almost 1,000 people that were interested in philosophy, not just in mediumship, but actually in understanding our religion. So hopefully those that have found us by accident that may not call themselves a spiritualist will have had an opportunity to just delve a little bit more into what makes us spiritualists, our understandings. And, it's wonderful to see this opportunity for people to get online to learn, because that's what coming down for this earth journey is all about. It's about learning. Okay, so I'm now going to get us to be nice and comfortable in readiness for our meditation. So there'll be some wonderful background music. So if you want to turn off to my voice, you can, and just follow the wonderful scenes. And then if you are happy to hear my voice, just taking you on those scenes. I know some of you only listen via a phone, that Barbara is able on calling up June to be able to listen in, and our friends Stephen and Kelly are not sighted, therefore they rely on the voice. They can hear the wonderful music that is put on by Richard, though, with all of the scenes that you're about to see. So just get yourself nice and comfy, take some deep breaths, move your shoulders, your fingers, and let's just enjoy this short meditation. So I'll ask Richard when he's ready to start the background. Thank you very much, Richard, again for your help this week.